Bill Barr knew? You sure about that? I would throw the... Oh, we got it, Paul. Thank you. The red flag is back.
All right.
Throwing the Reds. Laundry on the field. I'd review that play. First, so we set the table as to where we are in very Randy Macho Man kind of language here. Last night, Roswell Rachel tried to promote another one of her ridiculous conspiracy theories on her show on 9 p.m. at MSNBC. She had Lev Parnas on. Lev Parnas is this guy who is now being prosecuted for some alleged scheme. He's being prosecuted, I believe, in the Southern District of New York. He had some contact with Rudy Giuliani about the Ukrainian malfeasance. The guy apparently is flipped now, is obviously trying to stay out of jail, and is providing information. We discussed some of it yesterday. Some of it was written on the hotel notepad, which was candidly hilarious. I don't know where how that's evidence is beyond me. But he's become the new cause celeb amongst the liberals who are desperately trying to promote what? Conspiracy theory number 6,742 against Donald Trump. So what happened last night? So I want to set the table before I go through all the Ukraine connections, the Clintons, Iran. This stuff's going to blow your mind. What's going on? What are the Democrats so desperate to hide in Ukraine? And how is it that this Lev Parnas operation resembles quite closely the whole thing they did with Michael Cohen being prosecuted out of Southern District of New York too? What's the scheme? Get one of the district attorney's offices that leans left to prosecute a Trump associate for what would be mattress tag ripping off like crimes typically that aren't typically prosecuted, right? Go prosecute them, get them to flip on Trump, and get them to invent a bunch of conspiracy theories like Michael Cohen did. So this Lev Parnas thing is following that exact same trajectory because they just can't find anything on Trump, so they have to make it up, of course. So there was an article in the Wall Street Journal this morning, and it had an interesting summation of what Parnas said. Again, Parnas was working with Rudy Giuliani on some of this Ukrainian malfeasance going on, and Parnas has these now unbelievable claims. Parnas said, quote, he warned top Ukraine officials on aid and potential cutoff of funds. Giuliani associate claims he pressed for investigations benefiting Trump politically. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a big problem with Parnas. Two big problems about his claims. And you'll see what the Democrats and deep staters and bureaucrats are so desperate to hide in Ukraine when I'm done with the next section. But they're using Parnas now to hide this again, just like they're using the impeachment hoax against Trump. First, he said last night on the Maddow show, or implied, that he relayed a message to Ukrainian officials saying, hey, listen, you don't do this stuff, President Trump is going to cut off aid to your country. Very simple, which would be some kind of a quid pro quo the Democrats are trying to prove. Well, what's the problem with that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, from the Wall Street Journal piece, the guy, the Ukrainian official, the associate of the Ukrainian president, who allegedly Parnas said, if you don't do this, President Trump's going to cut off funds. This guy, Serhiy, his name is Serhiy Sheffer. Well, Mr. Sheffer, in his statement last year, said that his conversation with Mr. Parnas and his associate, Igor Fruman, was about their request to arrange a meeting with Mr. Giuliani. And that military aid, Joe, wasn't brought up. Oh, that's kind of a problem, folks. Mr. Giuliani said he didn't know that Mr. Parnas had relayed such a message to Ukraine. Apparently, either did the guy Mr. Parnas says he relayed the message to. Again, folks, don't let any of this get in the way of your tinfoil cap wearing conspiracy theories if you're on the liberal side of the spectrum. At some point, ladies and gentlemen, in this grand impeachment hoax, this embarrassment, this fraud, hoax, sham impeachment, at some point you're going to have to actually produce someone in Ukraine who claims they were a victim of the quid pro quo you claim exists that nobody on the Ukrainian side knows anything about. I don't think they should dismiss this. There's no case. It's destroying the Democrats politically. It's hilarious. It's a faceplant. It is killing them. Folks, if I thought they had anything on Donald Trump, I'd say, folks, it's time to worry. They're going to have to mount some defense, and they better have an excuse for that behavior. The problem is there's no behavior to defend. They didn't do anything. Let the Democrats continue to parrot out Lev Parnas, who conveniently is under a federal investigation right now. He's obviously trying to get a deal, who keeps saying these things that are refuted by evidence we already have. I told this Ukrainian, Joe, I told him, no aid if you don't do what Trump says. They asked the Ukrainian, sir, did he say that? Mr. Sefard, he said, no, I didn't hear that. Are you guys ever going to produce a victim? So Parnas' credibility problem number one. He says, I told this guy in Ukraine about the quid pro quo. The guy in Ukraine denies it. Credibility problem number two. Parnas said in the interview last night, Attorney General Bill Barr, he knew all about this. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Barr and his team have forcefully denied they knew anything about this repeatedly. Now, unless you're calling Bill Barr a liar, which I would be very hesitant to do, he doesn't need this job. He's been a completely independent mind from day one. Unless you're willing to go on the record and defame this guy, I suggest Mr. Parnas reevaluate that one. Bill Barr knew? You sure about that? I would throw the... Oh, we got it, Paul. Thank you. The red flag is back.
All right.
Throwing the Reds. Laundry on the field. I'd review that play. I think that one's going to be overturned on review. Credibility problem number three for Lev Parnas, the new cause celeb, the new all-star of the left, Lev Parnas. Parnas says, well, you know what? Let me just listen to Parnas' own words. Here's a video from last night on the Roswell-Rachel show, again, pumping another conspiracy theory, where Parnas tells Rachel Maddow that the Ukrainian ambassador Yovanovitch, who was monitoring me and others, which is really weird, by the way, I'm not suggesting he was doing anything illegal. Apparently, he was monitoring my social media, but it's kind of weird. You're monitoring me? I thought we were conspiracy theorists. What are you so worried about? Oh, they were monitoring us. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not suggesting she broke the law. It says they were monitoring our social media, which is public. I'm simply suggesting if Marie Yovanovitch, the Ukrainian ambassador, who I know was involved in some serious stuff over there, if Yovanovitch wasn't concerned about us all because we're all wacky conspiracy theorists, then why were you having people watch our stuff? Maybe because we were exposing you? Yeah, kind of, right? Yeah, but Parnas, because Marie Yovanovitch is another all-star on the left now because apparently she doesn't like Donald Trump. Parnas says that they wanted Yovanovitch gone, and that was the only reason for this operation. Rudy Giuliani, you got to get rid of her. Here's Parnas on the Maddow Show.
Has told me today a lot about that effort, including at one point apologizing for it, expressing regret. But he also made crystal clear why Yovanovitch was targeted the way she was. Do you believe that part of the motivation to get rid of Ambassador Yovanovitch, to get her out of post, was because she was in the way of this effort to get the government of Ukraine to announce investigations of Joe Biden?
That was the only motivation.
That was the only motivation.
There was no other motivation.
Okay. You heard it. That's so, Joe, again, you are the voice of the audience out there. Parnas is now on the record on a television interview on Roswell-Rachel's show saying, hey, the only reason we wanted this ambassador out there was because he was getting in the way of Trump. We tried to... Really? Because that's not what your indictment says. Hat tip Chuck Ross of the Daily Caller did a great job uncovering this one. That's funny, Joe. His indictment, Parnas' indictment, who's, again, under federal investigation, just kind of a small nugget to note there, says he was pushing for Yovanovitch's removal in 2018. And the indictment says that a Ukrainian official demanded it. Wait. That's not what you just said. Did I miss something? Joe, did you miss it? Did he say that wasn't the only reason? The other reason was Ukrainians wanted Yovanovitch out? Was that part? Did you cut that? Joe, you're up to your own tricks again. Dude. You edited it, right? Come on. Joe, as the left says, did you deceptively edit that?
Well, not deceptively.
Thank you. So there's no statement out there you cut out to deceive our loyal audience, correct? No, Parnas at no point indicates that there's another reason they wanted Yovanovitch out, that the Ukrainians wanted her out. But that's what it says in his indictment. But again, liberals, don't let the facts get in the way of this. I will say finally, before I move on to the intricate web of losers that all know each other and all need each other in this case. Folks, this guy has serious credibility issues, just like Michael Cohen did.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.